Feminism, a movement advocating the rights of women and of their social, political, and economic equality with men. Feminists are united by the concern of women's welfare. Feminist theater is a performance with a point of view that demonstrates the oppression of women under men's power and urges society to fight for gender equality by showing the strengths and weaknesses of its female characters. Feminist theater began around the 1970s when the Melbourne Women's Theatre Group started staging plays that focused on women's oppressions. Since 1970s, there have been different types of feminist theaters, but they all share one common goal, and that is to showcase the oppression of women's presence in theater and in society in general, trying to cause a change by exploring the roles that women have been assigned and trying to break those stereotypes. There are different types of feminist theater. There is radical, liberal, black, Marxist, materialist, and socialist. Liberal feminism. Liberal feminism claims equal rights as men for women who have experienced different forms of oppression or discrimination. It focuses on increasing opportunities such as better paid jobs, more professional and prestigious jobs for women. It also tries to rectify gender inequalities, hence pursuing the elimination of laws of discrimination that have been implemented by male attitudes. Basically, liberal feminism wants equality with men. Some elements that make up liberal feminist theater is that it wants to focus on unmasking stereotypes. It wants to decrease female objectivity on stage, because it wants to look for the same treatment that men have. It focuses on women oppression. The biggest element that liberal feminist theater has is that it wants to reduce gender inequality by breaking stereotypes, showing that women can also perform jobs or actions that are usually performed by men. For example, the clip being shown, the women can also be firefighters. Black feminist theater claims the oppression of women due to gender, class, and race. Some elements that make up Black feminist theater is that it showcases the past, a time when Black women were treated as inferiors. It wants to break stereotypes and raise awareness about Black women who have been judged and treated unfairly. It began in the 1980s, when there was a critique towards white feminists regarding about white feminism. Feminist theater was ruled in the 1970s by white middle-class women, and colored women wanted to change that and wanted to create their own performance groups. In 1986, the Magdalena Project arose about the elitism of theater. The Magdalena Project is a network of women interested in contemporary theater, but colored women weren't able to participate due to a lack of money. In 1989, finally, Women's Theater Group was able to showcase their first all-black performance. Nowadays, there are less problems regarding race, and therefore colored and white women are able to perform together.
You is smart. You is important. You is smart. You is kind. You is important. Oh, that's so good.
Radical feminism. Early feminist theater began as a voice of radical feminism. This branch of feminism celebrates femininity rather than seeing it as a social construct, something you might not be aware of but society classifies, like race, gender, or class, which simply constitutes a form of oppression or discrimination within society. Female sexuality is celebrated for its power and its supposed capacity to escape from structures of dominance and submission. Sexuality and maternity form crucial parts of feminist theater. In New York, there's a theater group called It's All Right to Be a Woman. In 1970s, Spider Woman Theater, a collection of Native American women, began. Between 1960s and 70s, it was proposed that gender roles were socially constructed and could be changed only after a revolutionary reconstruction of cultural power. Marxist feminism is a subpart of socialist feminism, a connection between women's, the working class, and consequently, humanity as a whole, emancipation, which is the factor process of being set free from legal, social, or political restrictions, also known as liberation. Socialist distinguishes itself from Marxist feminism by arguing that women's liberation can only be achieved by working to end both the economic and cultural sources of women's oppression. Marxist argues that capitalism and private property are to take fault from women's oppression via Marxist thoughts. Marxist feminism views women as the exploited class. They see male as the privileged gender and uses vocabulary to describe the condition that women are under. The aim of this type of theater is to educate the audience. They also think capitalism is the root cause of women's oppression, and that discrimination against women in domestic life and employment is an effect of capitalist ideologies. Marxist feminism ideals come from Marxism, which began in the 1800s. Top Girls is a world-known play about Marlene, a career-driven woman who is only interested in women's success in business. As the play unravels, she leaves her poor life and illegitimate child with her sister Joyce in order to find success. Carol Churchill, the playwright, was born the 3rd of September in 1938 in London. She was an English dramatist, known for her use of non-naturalistic techniques and feminist themes. She was acknowledged as a major playwright in the English language. She's one of the world's theater's most influential writers. Her early work developed Bertolt Brecht's modernist, dramatic, and theatrical techniques of epic theater to explore issues of gender and sexuality. She was the daughter of Jan, a fashion model, and Robert Churchill, a political cartoonist. In 1961, she married David Harder, a barrister. With him, she had 3 sons, Joe, Paul, and Rick. While raising a family in the 1960s and 70s, she began to write short radio dramas for BBC Radio. She has about 46 plays, and in most of them we can find her socialist views upon the world. Top Girls was written in 1963, and she received 2 awards for it. The play Top Girls is clearly influenced by feminism. Churchill admitted in an interview that when writing it, she was inspired by conversations and interviews she'd had with other American feminists. She was also inspired by a commentary on Margaret Thatcher, then the Prime Minister, who argued against the style of feminism that simply turns women into new patriarchs. The play subliminally argues that woman's instinct to care for the weak. The play also questions if it's possible for women in society to combine a successful career with a thriving family life. More than radical, we see Marxists appear in Top Girls many times. The play comments on the contrast between American feminism, which celebrates individualistic women who acquire power and wealth, and British socialist feminism, which involves collective group gain. Top Girls also celebrates personal achievement and believes in free market capitalism. Marlene, the tough career woman, is portrayed as soulless, exploiting other women and suppressing her own caring side in the cause of success.
Characters. Marlene is a protagonist who tries to do better and have a better job. She represents liberal feminism. She represents women who are capable of being as successful as men. She left her illegitimate daughter and went to London. She left Angie with Joyce, her sister, in order to reach her goals of being successful. Joyce is a traditional stay-at-home woman. She stayed at home to take care of Angie, her parents, and husband. She's the type of woman who receives no pity and doesn't accept Marlene's money. Angie is a slow-witted 17-year-old daughter of Marlene. She secretly hates her mom, Joyce, and believes that Marlene is her real mother. Therefore, she runs away to be with her in London. Pope Joan, Dulgret, Lady Nijo, Isabella Bird, Patient Griselda are historic women who have made it, in Marlene's terms, and have been successful. Top Girls was written in 1982, and its context was that it was when women were seen as objects. They were treated as inferior in comparison to men. They were the stereotypical stay-at-home moms. Top Girls was written in a time where feminism started to have an effect, because it was 10 years after that feminism was first introduced. Liberal feminism is represented in this play by the character of Marlene, who embarks on an adventure to have a better professional life, in comparison to Joyce, her sister, who's the stereotypical stay-at-home mom. Top Girl is influenced by liberal feminist theater. It directly represents it, because liberal feminism is when women look for equality amongst men and women. They have the same opportunities of jobs and they are treated the same. Top Girls is about Marlene, who looks for a job because she believes in herself, and that is how liberal feminism is represented through her actions of individuality. Joyce, on the other hand, represents the traditional stay-at-home mom, and Marlene represents the woman that Carol Churchill believes most women should be, that they believe in themselves and that they believe they are capable of being as successful as men.